Hey, I'm Michael from We Are Other, and I know I have tons of video lag and everything, so I apologize for that. But there's something that I want to bring up that's been annoying me. It doesn't have to do with music, which I know my channel only has music on it right now, really, besides this. And I know there are only like 10 people max that watch my videos, but whatever. What I'm going to end up saying is going to frustrate some people, but it annoys me. I believe I consider myself a believer. Some people call that a Christian. I call myself a believer because I don't know. I just do. I prefer that term, because the term Christian is overused nowadays, but that's besides the point. My issue is with an argument that evolutionists like to make. Now, I want to be logical about this, so honestly, creationism is a theory. Intelligent design is a theory. Evolution is a theory. There's evidence to back up all of them, and evidence to tear down all of them. And I'm not here to end up saying, no, creationism is obviously the right thing, but I am going to propose a thought here. I've heard the argument made against evolution that, well, why don't we still see animals or humanoids coming out of the woodwork from chimpanzees evolving into humans? Now, not all evolutionists believe that man came from chimpanzees, but for the sake of argument, let's assume that evolution states that chimpanzees become man. No, Homo sapien, Homo erectus, whatever. Given that argument, what ends up frustrating me is that the response is always, well, evolution takes a really long time. What that says to me is, well, we don't really know how to respond, so we're just going to make something up that eventually everyone will use, and they'll only use this because they don't have any better ideas. What you're actually saying is that apparently a species starts off here, and then part of that species goes ahead and evolves. And then tons of time happens in between, like thousands upon thousands of years, before that happens again. That's what you're saying, by saying, well, it takes a really long time. But at the same time, you argue that evolution is a continual thing. The issue with that is, if it's a continual thing, all the stages between chimpanzee and Homo sapien should be there constantly. Right? They should always be there, because it's a continual thing. There should continually be chimpanzees becoming Homo sapien. And yeah, according to evolution, that should be happening. But it's not. And I'm not trying to tear down evolution. I want to have an intelligent discussion with someone about this at some point, rather than just, oh, well, it's because it takes a long time. That's like me saying I believe the Bible because I believe the Bible is true because the Bible says it's true, which is a form of circular reasoning, which, I mean, honestly, if a Christian believes the Bible, then they should be able to use it, because an atheist or an evolutionist, let's not even go into Christian versus atheism, an evolutionist versus a creationist. A creationist might say, well, I believe in creation because the Bible says in creation, and I believe the Bible is true because it says it's true. That's circular reasoning. Where an evolutionist will say, well, I believe in evolution because I believe in evolution, which is circular reasoning. So basically, all I'm saying is we all are using circular reasoning apparently, and I honestly just want a more intelligent answer than it just takes a really long time. That's really all I'm looking for. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not here to be converted away from Christianity or creationism. I'm here to find out what you actually believe, because I understand what you say, but then you say it takes a long time. That's why it's not continually happening, which goes against everything you've already said. I mean, it'd be like if I said, well, I believe God created everything, but I don't believe that He did. It just, to me, that doesn't make sense, because you're not actually defending what you believe. You are actually contradicting it by saying, oh, well, it just takes a long time, that's it. And I know that the way I explained my thought process on that is not very good, so I'm going to try one more time before I just turn this thing off and stop ranting, because it's hurting my brain, so I'm sure it'll hurt other people's brains. Mostly because there are tons of people more intelligent than me out there, and if they see this, they'll just be like, oh, he's just so stupid. Which, you know what? Fine. Okay, cool. Whatever. I just want an intelligent answer about this, not just, it takes a long time. But it's just the idea of continual evolution does not fit in with the, well, evolution, you don't see it happening right now because it takes a long time. And I'm not talking about things adapting to their environment. No one can argue that things adapt. Humans adapt to their environment, as do animals. That's normal. I'm not talking about adaptation, I'm talking about evolution of a species becoming another species. And that should continue happening. It'd be like, this idea is weird, but it'd be like taking a school of fish and putting the most amount of food supply right outside of the pond. So they can get to it if they can get out of the water, breathe the air, and get the food. Otherwise, there's a really limited supply of food, and they could end up dying. And let's assume that they survive thousands of years in this little pond, and over that course of time, about 20% of them just suddenly become more amphibious and go up onto the land and get food on the land, and they're able to be in the water and on the land and be just fine. But the other 80% are still fish. And then, according to what you say by, well, evolution just takes a really long time, you'd have to wait another few thousand years for the next group of fish to then evolve. Rather than, oh, well, it's a continual thing, so the fish will just keep evolving into that amphibious state and continue doing that until all the fish are amphibious, which is where I'm having issues. And true, that's more of a form of adaptation, but it's also a change of species, because you don't go from fish to amphibian normally. Those are two different species. So it's not just an adaptation like, oh, well, the iguana needed to get food in the Galapagos, so he dove into the water and started eating seaweed. That's an adaptation. That he didn't change species, he just got a new skill. and it's like, yeah, I know what I'm trying to say, but thoughts aren't all connecting for some reason. But it's like with the finches in the Galapagos that Darwin ends up talking about, where there are the different finches with the different types of beaks for different jobs. Now, those finches all had adaptations to help them best survive. But they did not suddenly go from, like, finch to reptile. Right, bird to reptile. That's a bit of a jump. And true, people could argue, well, that's not really that much of a jump, because we, as far as our current knowledge goes, we assume that raptors somehow became are relatives of chickens, which I don't understand as far as evolution goes, because raptor, survival of the fittest thing, raptor, pretty intelligent, really well built for survival. They should have no problem surviving. Into chicken, which, honestly, what do they have for survival? Beaks and talons. They really don't fly. They flutter a little bit into the air, but they don't fly. We feed them, kill them, and eat them. So they are not performing survival of the fittest in their own sense. Rather, they are providing us for our survival, which ends up being an issue to me. But that's a whole nother argument, and I honestly just want to know, what is a better argument than, well, it just takes a long time, because that's not a good argument. It really isn't. But yeah, well, anyone that actually listens to this, thank you for listening to my rant, and I really, honestly, I look forward to answers. I really do. I want to know. I'm not one of those guys that's just gonna be like, oh, they insulted me. Oh, honestly, as long as you aren't just arrogant about it, I will appreciate an answer. As long as it's not like, what do you mean? How? What you said is just stupid. Yeah, no, because then you're just arguing the speaker, and that in itself is a fallacy. And no, just don't do that. I want to hear actual logic on this. But anyway, thanks again. I'm Michael from We Are Other, and previously MS and Crafts. Yeah, whatever. But yeah, look forward to getting answers. Bye.